An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of your face in it, adorned with the expression. This idiocy has gone on far too long. It's time to wipe that decadent homosexual grin off your face. Time to see yourself as you truly are. It's time you knew the truth, brother. Love, time, Revacol. It's all shit. It can, and it is, just a mountain of shit. Every bit of it. Especially love, brother. Face it, no one's willing to make the sacrifices that are necessary, not in this day and age. Look deep inside yourself. You know it's true, because it hurts. Who said anything about giving up? It takes a true Kingsman to summon the will to face reality in all its darkness, to stare straight into the abyss and do what must be done. Remember, Kingsmen are not born, they are made. And the only thing that can unmake us is that which drove us to rise above in the first place. We keep that thing locked in the deepest cellars of our mind, so deep we forget what it is. We keep it buried like a horrible secret. We feed it through the cracks in the floorboards out of a sickening sense of nostalgia, just enough to keep it alive. And yet, it still comes to us in moments of weakness, unbidden, a source of shame and panic. This is a horrible allegory for whatever is on the other end. A day will come when you need to take a shotgun to that cellar, shoot whatever is down there in the head, and walk away, never looking back. Your heart can belong to Revacol, or it can belong to darkness. As long as it's torn between them, it's broken and useless. You will be free to love Revacol like no one has ever loved her. You will be her champion, and she will be faithful to you. If you can just make this last sacrifice, you will finally know happiness. So ask yourself, when the time comes, can you shoot the past in the head, walk away, and never look back on its rotting remains? The bloated whores, schizophrenic anarchists, and deformed moneylenders tremble, trying to shield their eyes as he, le gendarme en diamant, walks by. Enough. The Franco-Nigerian Court of Honor has held your naked soul up against the sevenfold sun miracle and looked right through it. Close your eyes and know this is who you are. Despite doubt, fear, sentimentality, and weakness, you plow ever forward like an icebreaker, tearing through the frigid North Sea. Now, open your eyes and witness the wonder. The HMS Last Kingsman has left the docks. The world will tremble as you smash all the ice in the world. It was time to banish that pitiful, sad look from your face and replace it with a perfect reflection of your unyielding resolve, your noble suffering. Maybe it will make you temptation-proof, so something good will come out of this at least. This is the face worn by the first lawbringers, the noble tyrants. Today, you join their number. You plow your way toward the frigid lands of Gutla and Vasa, smashing every ice sheet in your path. Nothing can stop an icebreaker. Never. May this serve as a constant reminder of your sacred, unputdownable burden. That's one way of saying that the nerve damage is quite severe. The only way you'll be able to change your face now is with your fingers. Now, shout from the top of your lungs. You are the noble sufferer. In a rundown shack on the far coast, a middle-aged man pounds his fists and looses an animal cry as he stares into a slither of clouded glass. From above the Bay of Revachol, a cold wind gathers in response. The people of the fishing village pull their coats and blankets tight about themselves. You step back from the mirror. A loose board creaks.
What happened to you?
Better keep the lieutenant in the dark about the whole icebreaker thing. He's not gonna get it.
You look different. Constipated somehow? Yes, your face. Looks like you're having a stroke. Can you even move it?
That's a negative, Lieutenant.
I just don't understand, officer. Please help me understand. And what is that? A walking mask? Including drinking? Admitting a problem is the first step forward. Perhaps now we can finally get some work done. Shall we?
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone while the other watches him do it.
We heard bad words and said, I got in trouble. Bad words. Bad words. We won't. We learned. We just heard funny voices. We thought the voices were funny. We said what they said, and then we got in trouble. Radio? What's that? We just heard them in our head. You know, I heard people talking, except just in my head. It was like, it is time at last. My nasty speed reeks. Our brother man is about to grow up.
A memory stirs. You've heard this quickfire patter before.
DJ Flatio's Big Boy Daniel single is here. Buckle up, cause this is the fastest track that you're ever gonna hear. Turn up the volume. Load those speakers out. Now here's... No. Don't say bad words, stupid.
Why? What a splendid rendition these two rapscallions have offered us here today. Faultless memorization. Perchance they'll enjoy greatness as a double act in the performing arts.
A word when you're done.
The boy draws a jagged rock across the ground. It leaves a white scratch.
Detective, about what the twins had to say. So, those voices they heard.
Yes, of course, earlier, when you turned the radio on in his Kanema.
I can't explain how they heard it. I believe they heard something, and given the poverty of this part of town, I don't know how they could have heard the radio. However, weird as it is, the situation is not connected to the murder. This isn't our business.
The lieutenant says nothing. An ocean breeze blows in strong. He raises his jacket collar against it. The lieutenant shrugs.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with? A radio? Ah, no. We play no radio here. There's one in the shack, but it's never used. Visitors know every sound that belongs to this coast. I would know if I heard anything different. Was that the nonsense we were spouting? Pah! No, I have no idea where they heard it. They've been in earshot all week, and no radio.
Let's just get it out of the way as fast as we can. Contact dispatch from my kinema and ask them to connect you to the station. Maybe they can shed some light on this. I'm ready when you are.
Anything else?
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Come again, officer?
The lieutenant sighs under his breath. Really? He says, low and tired.
Right. One moment, officer.
No.
I have the GMS on the line. I'll connect you now.
Yo! Yo, you got DJ Mesh here, my man. I got a few minutes before I gotta go back on air. What do you need? An asshole is a mouth for shit. And I'm puking. An asshole is a mouth for shit. Parentheses, and I'm puking. Close parentheses. An asshole is a mouth for shit, and I'm puking. What? No! I ain't telling you off, man. That's the name of the song. An asshole is a mouth for shit, and I'm puking. They're loving it, man. The requests keep coming in for more. I really think it's the future of music, I do. Fucking, like, stinkcore or something. Shit's so nasty. Those stink waves come up like sound waves, you know what I mean? Very cool, man. I'm dead serious when I say Fellatio's gonna make it big in this world. It's illegal not to play, man. When you got that kind of music in you, the universe demands that you got to let it out. You know what I mean? Plus, Felicio and I got it in our contracts that we could play our own tracks. So really, it would be illegal not to. Oh, come on, man. I just told you we're cleared to play shit like that. Listen, it's not our problem if kids decide to tune into River Shore's hottest station. I don't understand. Are you asking if we can, like, play our station into people's brains? Speed Freaks FM is elective listening, man. We don't want to force the people to adopt our thinking. That's fascist bullshit. You're a fucking wild man. Sure, let's hear it. Oh, man, I love it. You're great. No, we didn't do anything like that. We know how to. We just played it on air like normal people. Now, was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Huh?
Look at that. His eyes dilate. That's joy, my man. You wouldn't be able to tell, but his glasses just magnify it.
Okay, cop man. Can do, will do. DJ Mesh, out.
The party has terminated the call. Is there anything else I can do for you, officer?
Spoke to the wildest cop in Rivershore. He asked us to give his buddy cop, longtime listener Kim Kitsuragi, a big shout out. Kim, we love you.
Keep it freaky, like DJ Mesh, DJ Flacho, and your wild friend. This one's for you.
If, when a motor carriage's engine was ignited, it could drive by its own accord off to a high mountain, and there write a song, perhaps it would be something like what you're hearing now.
We aren't discussing this.
What a reserve of willpower. It's taken all he's got to not smile.
This is Precinct 57. Can I connect you to someone? 57's over and out.
In the cabin, you see...
Okay, about that call. Let's start from the top. There's no doubt the twins heard Speed Freaks FM. I still don't know how without a radio, but they did. I don't know what it means. I don't think the voices in your head are related to this, no.
The lieutenant gives you a long look.
I don't know what to say to that, or what you want me to say. I'm sorry. Did we ask where the kids were when they heard the voice? No need to apologize. I was just going to say it'd be a good idea to ask them. And, Detective, thanks for this. It's been interesting.
A police badge on which you see the photo of a man, you, Some seaweed is stuck to the back.
At least something good came out of all this.
Encased between two durable plastic sheets is a bluish card with lines of information and a watermark in the shape of the street grid of Revachol West. You see a photo, a name, a rank, a document number, the date of issue, and, in the lower right corner, your precinct. The man keeps winking at you with his green-grey eyes. The photo is old, no doubt about that. But the badge is new. You used an old photo for a new badge. Good choice. A newer photo would look different. 8, maybe 10 years. The guy in the picture is rather good looking. He's got a nice haircut and is distinctly lacking in massive sideburns. What do you think? His face is already contorted by the expression, although it looks less grotesque on him than it did on you. It looks like you had quite the charming face way back then. Your hair is brown and slightly curly. Your eyes seem more clear somehow. The lack of alcohol swelling is a bonus, though there's a pinch of that in your cheeks already. Don't be fooled. The bad times have already begun. The badge in your hand shines as you rotate it, catching light. You see lines of information on it, and a shining watermark.
Harrier. That's long for Harry. So you are Harry. Evrard was half right. Probably not a lot of people know your full name. Whoever told him you're Harry Dubois didn't. Not strange at all. Your name is Harrier Dubois, like it says on your police badge. It's a wartime name, revolutionary. The kind mothers give their sons during troubled times, like Undying or Boxer or Ironhide.
It's meant to keep you safe. From bullets, hunger, shrapnel, kidnappings, and worse.
Why? It's a cool name. I like it. Besides, you're Harry anyway. No one's ever called Harrier.
He's not going to call you Harrier. He'll keep calling you officer when he's angry with you, and detective when he's not. The badge in your hands shines as you wrote.
Lieutenant W. Freighter. The lieutenant is a rank above sergeant and below captain. It's the highest rank in the RCM that still does field work. I am a lieutenant. The title of Freighter is added to your rank when you decline a promotion to a higher rank. In your case, captain. You have declined twice, thus you're W. Freighter. There are many reasons one would do this. The rank above you in your precinct's decontage might be taken, or sometimes promoted officers do not want to replace their superiors out of respect. And sometimes they just prefer the type of police work available to their current rank, in your case, lieutenant.
Heavy-duty case-solving machine.
Decontage is the hierarchical system employed by the Revachol citizens' militia. It means counting down to twos.
The countdown is modeled after the dual leadership system employed by the left during the revolution, which in turn was developed by last-century experimental psychologists in the University of Königstein.
The lowest rank is junior officer, usually teenagers. Then there are the patrol officers, then sergeants, lieutenants, and then a captain. That's basically it, except for a few kings. Kings like satellite officers and the additional freighter rank I already explained.
The long and short of it is, you're his superior.
You are given the title of satellite officer if your partner is quickly promoted through the ranks and you rise with him. You don't seem to be a satellite. No, I've been putting up with you because despite an unconventional approach, you are doing good police work. It matters more than driving your motor carriage into the sea. And now we've even found your badge.
He trusts you, for now. Try not to spoil it.
Yes, apparently you've had a rather successful career in the past, and this leads me to believe maybe your current situation is only temporary. Good.
Such a small yet precious thing. Expensive paper caught between thick plastic, like a fly in amber. It reads.
That's just the serial number. Revachol, Jamrock, Precinct 41, with some numbers thrown in there for good measure.
The numbers are not there for good measure. They have an administrative purpose, one that's unfortunately been erased from your memory.
4 months ago. I'm guessing that's when you were promoted to the rank of Lieutenant W. Freighter. A new badge usually comes with a new rank. You seem to have been doing well then.
The pain in your chest tells you you were working yourself to death to earn that rank. The case created a lot of edge you have to take off. The death march really gets us going. You're pretty sure you weren't doing well, but better? Probably yes. A lot can happen in 4 months, especially in winter. The winters are never easy on you, of that you are sure.
I remember that time! That was a good time. We had a good work-drink balance going. What happened, man? Pump it up!
Yes, it's the designation of your precinct. 41, like mine says 57. The 57th is mostly industrial harbor, a lot of asphalt. The 41st is... It's a tough station to work in. You have all of Jamrock to cover. That district should have 3 precincts, but money is what it is.
It's no wonder you are like you are, he thinks. But then again...
It's a legendary district, and a hell of a station too. It must be an honor and a curse to work with people like Price, McCoy, Berdiaeva.
Roberts, Feuerbach, Dimitri. Suddenly, names from your decomptage flash in your forebrain. And you? Is it an honor to work with you? Don't ask him, ask yourself. The badge in your hand shines as you rotate it. The Greatest Innocence by João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego. The book is large and heavy. Browsing through the various chapters, you try your best to understand the ceaseless overflow, the sprawl of names, dates, places, events historical. Most of it ends up as a twisted mass of facts inside your brain. You can do it. It'll be worth it. There's something here. Your educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No. Oh well, it's pop quiz time. Let's see what you've learned. This might take a few minutes. You ready? Disappointing. You'll never get anywhere with that attitude. The greatest... Browsing through the various chapters, you can do it. Your educational survey is done. That's the spirit. Here we go. Question 1. Who was the first innocence? Oh yeah, this is what I was made for. A pop quiz is a short examination designed to test your knowledge without any prior warning or announcement. Such exams allow the teacher to assess how thoroughly the students have retained the material at hand. Voila! Now blast that first innocence. Thanks for nothing. Dolores Day. Dolores. Incorrect. Dolores Day was the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. She codified parliamentary democracy and created modern institutions. Among these, the moral intern, she was powerful and beautiful on all her icons. Her colors are silver, white, and apricot. And when you think her name, Dolores, stomach acid rises to the back of your throat, and it hurts. You see a flash silver, a wreath, an airport bag, and blonde hair. You don't know why. Another choice, perhaps? Steer clear of this one. There's something terrible about this one. A strange sensation of loss. When she left the earth, the dust, and the ice, and the humans. That is unimportant to the quiz. Stop thinking about this. Yes, the quiz is impersonal. No need to rouse sensations in yourself at the mention of Dolores Day. Who was the first innocence? It wasn't Dolores Day. Incorrect. Sola was anointed during the previous century and even lived to see the current one. She was an urban planner who spoke her mind and largely left history to its own devices, encouraging people to excel on their own rather than prescribing to a deified model of history. She is often called an anti-innocence. Sola resigned after an assassination attempt by a Yugo nationalist who blamed her for not taking the side of the left during the turn-of-the-century revolutions. Innocences don't usually resign. Care to try again? Correct. Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that he was a he, but Franco Negro presumed as such and called him Pius. He's depicted as a young man with molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It's said he invented God and equality of men before God. He also introduced the gold standard as a way for measuring people's love for Aurum. As the first innocence, he declared that there should be more of those like him. It is presumed his disciples were the beginning of the Holy Party, the founding party. Question 2. Who was the strongest innocence? Easy. Everybody knows the answer to this. You, me, anybody. An innocence is the highest category of historical personage in the world, a literal personification of history. Traditionally, an innocence, when anointed, assumes supreme rule over the Occident or the known world in general. At least the parts that matter. I can do better. Okay, so commonly an innocence does not enforce his or her power through military power. This is seen as unnecessary. The innocence wins because an innocence can't help but win, for their deeds are inevitabilities. Did this help? Damn. Dolores. Incorrect again. While she originated many modern institutions, launched several successful expeditions, and was even critical of the innocentic system itself, and somehow keeps popping up in your mind, she is not often considered the strongest. Even though the words most associated with her rule are l'amour, la compassion, la autodiscipline, love, compassion, self-control, which could be seen as facets of strength. Would you like to try again? Please, relax. Incorrect. Vespa Messina is not a person, but a defunct state on the southeastern coast of the Occident. It used to take up most of the peninsula before separating into the republics of Vespa and Messina. Care to try again? Correct. Named the innocence of militarism, he codified hereditary rule, but at the same time ended serfdom and established the Inter-Isolari Real as the global reserve currency. He also established the concept of the nation. Franco Negro attempted to solve the rising tensions between the aristocracy and bourgeoisie by building a unified society in which every man has a place and a mission, but at the same time may rise to nobility provided on the strength of his virtue. Question 3. Who was the false innocence? Got it under control. No problem. Solid on this one. It's widespread historical information. Yes, there exists a group called the Founding Party, known as the Holy Party, during the time of the Pericarnacian. This, the world's oldest international organization, spends its time in search of either the re-emergence of the innocents or new members. There seems to be a mix-up with the sources. It's not my fault. At least it clearly wasn't Dolores Day. She wouldn't be false. She's beautiful. Correct. There have been a number of counter or false innocences, some assumed to have innocentic qualities, some who just thought so themselves. Occasionally, they have the support of a faction inside the ecclesiastic organization, and accusations of foul play have arisen. The most famous and important of these was Ernau Pasternak. He was into torture, despotism, hymns, cannons, and world conquest, but got defeated and humiliated by Stepan the Despicable of Kedra. Final stretch. You've come so far and learned so much. This is the most important one. Question 4. Who was the greatest innocence? The most important of them all. The most precious to humankind. I've got it, honest. Of course, this is my thing, the reason I exist in this world. The correct answer is Franco Negro. 0 doubts, while it was actually her. Incorrect. While Franco Negro built concrete churches and cathedrals, and while many people, especially the Mesque, consider him a father figure, due to his militarism and nationalism, João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego argues differently. Another choice, perhaps? Oh yes, militarism and nationalism. My bad. Yes, obviously. Correct. The Mesque might see Franco Negro as the father of nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores Day has become widely regarded as the greatest innocence, a most radical change to the whole fabric of the world. Everything from inter-solary travel to the connected world to 3 consecutive scientific revolutions can be traced back to her. Every decade that passes, she seems less human somehow, and more beautiful, and more beautiful, and more beautiful. Congratulations on finishing the test. The results and your subsequent grade have been calculated. You get a D, not particularly remarkable, but technically a passing grade. Not that anyone really expected better. You would have done better if you just left Dolores Day for the end. Dial the Dolores Day down a bit.
What's going on with you? Okay.
You are shouting at an inanimate object, like a real weirdo. No wonder you seem to have trouble with the right answers.
Man, something's weird about this book. You should do something fun instead. Rock out. Forget about it.
In your hands, you hold a brand new copy of the game, Suzerainty. It's snugly wrapped in a skin of plastic. The cover features a charming illustration depicting a mass of grinning laborers loading goods onto a ship, while a richly dressed administrator oversees their work. The exact location and time period are left deliberately vague, but it's clearly meant to represent the economic relationship between the Revacholian suzerainty and its many vassals. The box has a nice heft to it. You hear the rattle of individual wooden tokens and feel their weight shifting back and forth. What treasures wait in store for you? Even before you open it, You can tell that this will be a meaty game of grand strategy and complex player interactions. The plastic wrap rips off as easily as a bodice in a tawdry historical romance. There's a hiss as the lid slides off. Inside, you find a thick, full-color rulebook and more than a dozen pouches of various wooden components. Savor that new board game smell. A mix of wood, paper, and ink, all wrapped in the sweet must of cardboard. Welcome to Suzerainty, a game of economic strategy for the whole family. The rulebook is sumptuously illustrated and thick as a Gradian novel. The colorful illustrations depict cheerful workers picking apricots, hauling marble sculptures out of crumbling temples, and harvesting a strange magenta-leafed plant. Everyone is smiling. The instructions are opaque at first and introduce many concepts you're not familiar with. Fortunately, there are many diagrams and examples throughout. You soon figure out the basic conceit. Each player represents an administrator for the suzerain of Revachol. Your objective is to increase the suzerain's wealth and renown by accumulating victory points. That's where the suzerain's vassals come in. The game features 4 vassal nations, each one home to an economically important resource. Each turn, the player collects resources from vassals where they've placed workers. They may then rearrange their workers, fulfill contracts for coin and bonuses, or build structures back in Revachol. As you leaf through the pages, your eye catches on a sidebar labeled Advice for Beginners. Remember, there are many paths to victory in Suzerainty, but successful players will find one strategy and commit to it wholeheartedly. Boring, boring, boring. Tear up this rulebook and commit some old-school atrocities. Suzerainty is a family game. The only atrocities you'll be committing are against the social standing of your rival administrators, as you bring in ever more resources and power for the suzerain. Speaking of, the actual scoring system appears infinitely complex, with a series of tables and appendices required to compute each player's final victory point total. You skip that part for now. You open up a number of pouches containing wooden tokens. There are also several punch boards with other cardboard components that will need to be punched out before you can play. Each cardboard token makes a satisfying ch as you pop it out. Soon, a neat pile of cardboard coins and counters has accumulated before you.
What? You're not going to offer to let me punch any of them out?
In addition to the worker and building tokens used by each player, there are also several piles of colorful resource tokens, each representing one of the game's 4 principal resources. From the Empire of Safre, orange apricot tokens. From Ilmarat, the ancestral name of Ilmara, gray marble block tokens. From the Semenine Islands, white sacks of sugar tokens. And from Supramuindi and Sarah Maritza, magenta tokens for unprocessed cocaine leaves.
Oh, those are nice.
You hold the open game box before you. The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he sees something that makes his eyes go wide.
Holy shit. The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours. I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
What is detective work if not an elaborate game? You need logical inference, attention to detail, the ability to analyze your opponent's motives.
I do feel like my thinking has become somewhat rigid. Maybe a little diversion to keep the mind limber is just what's in order.
See? He's doing the hard work himself. All he needed was a little nudge.
Alright, you've convinced me. How do we play?
You explain the basic setup procedures to the lieutenant, who seems to be a quick study. You each take your bag of tokens and counters and unfold the board between you. In the center is the crown of Revachon. Radiating outward are her colorful vessels, each one supplying some raw material desired by the suzerain. Apricots from Safre, archaeological treasures from Ilmarat, sugars from the Seminine Islands, and magenta cocaine from Supra Muindi and Sarah Maritza. There's also a neat little log to keep track of your progress in case you need to put the game away and return to it later. The lieutenant goes first. He draws a contract card and moves several of his workers to the Safre territory of the board, and the others to the Seminine Islands.
All right, Detective. Your turn.
You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contracts right away, or rearrange your workers to maximize production on future turns? Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it. You draw a contract card offering a number of coins in exchange for archaeological treasures. You place all your workers on the Ilmarat territory. On your next turn, you produce 6 units of archaeological treasure and fulfill the contract for a handful of coins.
Not bad, Detective.
But not good enough, the lieutenant seems to be saying. As he completes his own contract card, the lieutenant is rewarded with 4 coins and a round wooden token that he places in the center of the board.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points. Don't worry, it was mostly just luck. You'll earn some points soon enough.
What is that patronizing tone? You're one of the suzerain's trusted administrators. You may need to put the lieutenant in his place.
Points are nothing. They don't exist. They're just an arbitrary convention that games use to reward or punish players for certain behaviors. Game designers, I imagine? There are some paranoid types who believe the moral intern keeps detailed score sheets for everyone in the Real Belt, but that's obviously nonsense. Otherwise, no. There are no points, just your actions and the consequences of those actions. That's just the way it is. Now, I believe it's your turn.
Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you to survive a possible conflict with the lieutenant. Or you could ignore your labor supply and focus on fulfilling contracts for points and resources. What do you do? Who cares about workers or territories when the real action is in Revachon? You spend your turns fulfilling contracts for sweet coins and one-time bonuses. After several turns, you have a neat pile of cardboard coins and several units of archaeological treasure, which you trade in to build a museum. You place a cylindrical piece of wood on the Revachol section in the middle of the board. It's meant to stand in for a beautifully adorned edifice filled with ancient wonders. This is more or less what happened in real life as well. To this day, if Ilmarans want to see their nation's priceless treasures, they have to visit Revachol, or Gottwald, or Sur-le-Clay.
Well played, Detective. That museum is worth 3 victory points.
Now it's the lieutenant's turn to respond. He moves aggressively onto the Safre territory. Soon, his workers are producing a steady supply of extremely valuable apricots. How can you let the lieutenant dominate you like that? You need to hit back, and hard. For several turns, you struggle to respond to the lieutenant's burgeoning apricot empire. Eventually, you relocate the majority of your workers to Supremawindi and Sarah Maritza, where they begin producing a bumper crop of cocaine tokens. You draw a new contract card. According to the text, there's an aristocrat willing to trade a large supply of cocaine for a number of coins and access to a rare bonus. Amplified music worth 7 victory points. Oh yeah, baby. Cocaine and rock music go together like cocaine and rock music. You know, this isn't unlike the situation the historical Revacholian suzerainty faced in Safre in the middle of the last century. Well, the suzerain was looking for new markets for all the cocaine it was producing, and it settled on Safre. By introducing cocaine into Safre under exclusive contract, the suzerain created an extremely valuable captive market for an extremely addictive product. If you could somehow get the lieutenant's workers addicted to your cocaine, you could not only make them less productive, you would also force the lieutenant to pay you for your cocaine tokens each turn. Yes, you can. It's right there in the rules. Now's your chance. Show the lieutenant what happens when he patronizes you. You've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression? It takes several turns, but you slowly begin accumulating the cocaine necessary to complete the contract. When you do, it practically rains cardboard coins on your side. Feels good, doesn't it? But you know what would feel even better? Drugs. Specifically uppers. Speaking of, aren't you supposed to be looking for some right about now? While you daydream about speed, the lieutenant has built himself a formidable economic engine of his own. The end game is upon you. How will you spend the vast resources you've acquired for the glory of the suzerain? Flipping through the manual, you find the most expensive structure in the game, the Revacholian victory column, worth 12 victory points. If you can successfully build it, victory will be all but assured. Alternatively, you could try launching a trade war to crush the lieutenant's economy, or you could blow all that money on a public education system for your worker tokens. The choice is yours. Using the substantial coins and resources you've accumulated from diligently fulfilling contracts and constructing trade routes, you spend your final turns constructing the ultimate structure in the game, the Revacholian victory column. With a triumphant flourish, you remove a rectangular token from one of the satchels and place it next to your museum cylinder in the center of the board.
They're nice tokens, yes. Very impressive. Now, let's tally up the scores, shall we?
Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coins, consulting tables, and struggling with basic addition and multiplication. After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your final score. 35 victory points. The suzerain will be extremely pleased.
I've got 26 points. Looks like you won convincingly. Well played, detective. Now let's clean up and get back to work.
You hold the open game box before you.